Okay. Well, you guys showed up immediately. All right. Okay. Let me know in the chat room if you guys can hear me, and we'll get started immediately. Looks like you guys hear me. Okay. The audio good. Can you guys hear me? All right. I'm going to assume that you can hear me. All right. Good. Let's get to it. All right. Happy New Year, everybody. It's a new year. I have a new haircut, or an old haircut. That was probably a long time coming. So my hair doesn't look like a rat's nest anymore. I do kind of miss my hair, though. Anyhow. Yeah, so Impact just ended. And this was the big one. This was the show they've been building up to for months. Well, pretty much since Bound for Glory ended in October. This was the culmination of the World Title Series. And it was also their debut on the new network, Pop TV, which apparently I do get. I just found out today. Like earlier today, I realized, oh, I do have Pop TV. Huh. I didn't know that. So, turns out I can actually watch the show live. That will not be the case when all the shows, start coming back. Because pretty soon, we're going to have The Flash and Agent Carter and I guess Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a couple months. Those are all going to be on Tuesdays. So when those shows start coming back, these live streams will probably not be happening on Tuesday nights. I'll probably be doing those on Saturday or Sunday. Because I'll be watching those other shows to take notes for the comic show post-show. Anywho. But when there are no shows on Tuesday, we can do the Impact stream on Tuesday. Anyway, let's get started. Several months back, the outcome of the Bound for Glory main event led to TNA holding what they called the World Title Series, a tournament to crown a new world champion that lasted for 3 months. 3 months, which, despite the efforts of the wrestlers, I found to be dull, formulaic, creatively phoned in, about 3 times longer than it needed to be, and worst of all, boring. Nearly every storyline got put on hold, promo segments became non-existent, the show stopped trying to be any kind of alternative product, and instead settled for being a more gimmicky version of ROH. It was very, very tiresome. But it did give them a several-month window with which to get themselves ready for their debut on the new network. So I had expectations going into this Impact, because after 3 damn months of preparation, there was no reason in the world for this to be a bad show. I decided that I was not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I was not going to give them time to work all the kinks out or whatever. Not going to give them time to get their act together. Why? Because they've had more than enough time. If they couldn't put together a Dynamite show with their roster after 3 months to get ready for it, there must be something seriously wrong. Now, going in, I wanted to see some honest-to-God effort from the creative team. I wanted to see that they recognized where they fucked up in the past, i.e. this Matt Hardy world title push. I wanted to see them hit the ground running with storylines, promos, characters, attention to detail, in addition to wrestling. And I wanted to see them establish a clear direction for the product, which tells me that they know what they're doing, where they're going, and how to get there. Because after 3 months with nothing else to do, there was no excuse for them not having their shit worked out. No excuse for them not delivering the goods tonight. And if they delivered another predictable paint-by-numbers cookie-cutter wrestling show that's not going to appeal to anyone but the most hardcore of hardcore fans, much like they've been doing since October, that I was going to have to seriously consider why I was still bothering to review this show every week. I was not terribly optimistic going in, I have to admit. They hadn't announced very much for this show at all. just Bobby Roode defending the worthless piece of garbage King of the Mountain title in an open challenge to anyone from any promotion, and the Dollhouse versus the Beautiful People, including Angelina Love, even though Angelina is extremely pregnant right now and would obviously not be wrestling. Or should I say, obviously, unless you work for TNA's graphics department. Because they still had her on the match graphic. Why? Whatever. In the last few days, they were also posting videos hyping something called The Miracle, which could have been anything. Mike Bennett was my guess, but yeah, that really could have been a bunch of different things. And then, of course, there were the finals of the World Title Series, which I had long since ceased to care about. So, all things considered, there wasn't a lot that I had to look forward to on this show. The only thing that really had me on pins and needles about that was my lingering hope that TNA would come to their senses and not put the world title on Matt Hardy. So there really wasn't a ton of buzz here, at least as I could see. But anything was possible. So, let's find out how they did. Things start out promisingly enough. They've got a neat new intro with some original music from Billy Corgan. They're out of the impact zone, so the crowd was actually awake, thank God. Josh and the Pope are back calling the show at ringside again, which I much prefer. Doing it in the studio in front of the green screen with all the virtual studio or something. That was a nice touch, and it was something interesting to try for a while, but I prefer them being at ringside so that way they can actually interact with the show and the wrestlers and stuff like that. Like when guys get thrown into the announce table or thrown over the announce table and stuff. You can't do that when they're in the green screen room. So I like this better. Excuse me. So the show begins. And holy shit, you guys, the very first segment is a promo. An actual promo where people do something other than have a match in the World Title Series. People are talking. They're saying things, interesting things. An honest-to-God in-ring promo with talking and funny lines. EC3 was airing his grievances because even though the holidays are over, as long as our Lord of Wrestling is around, it's still a Festivus for the rest of us, goddammit! But then Dixie starts talking again, and she goes on and on about how great Matt Hardy is, even though he cheated to win the world title at Bound for Glory, which they're still completely ignoring. So Hardy comes out, still acting like he did nothing wrong at Bound for Glory, still acting like EC3 was the bad guy for taking the fact that Matt cheated and being smart enough to use it to his advantage. And I wasn't sure if they were going to turn Matt heel tonight, but they were definitely telegraphing the hell out of it. I was immediately thinking, that's what they're going to do, isn't it? Oh, they're going to have him cheat to win. Oh, Christ. Please don't do this. So Eric Young and Lashley show up. Suddenly, we've got a brawl on our hands. It's actually pretty good. They were going all out here. This was some good action. I thought this segment came off very well. It didn't go too long. It got to the point quickly. It was entertaining. Best of all, it was not a wrestling match in the World Title Series, which is what I've been starting this show for the last 3 months. I was already getting a bad feeling about the Matt Hardy situation, but nevertheless, this was a good start to the show. After the commercial break, we go to a wrestling match in the World Title Series, but after that opening segment, this had more to it than these things usually do, because we established the issues between them, and it was more than just a tournament match. We saw them fighting beforehand, and the fact that it was EC3 versus Lashley didn't hurt either. These are two of TNA's big guns, so that helps. I'm not going to dwell on this too much. The match is fine. EC3 wins as he should. I did feel like there was too much interference from Tyrus. But I guess we had to expect him to protect Lashley, so I let that go. And it actually played into the main event when Tyrus left, because you'd think, oh, well, he needed tons of interference beforehand. Now he's gonna, how's he gonna handle it when he has to win on his own? So that actually came into play later. Okay. All right. So then we break up the wrestling with another promo segment. My God, this show has been missing these so much. Kurt Angle comes out, talking about his farewell tour, and the guys that he's going to face on it, because he's retiring soon, well, retiring from TNA, not from wrestling. And their retirement tour is going to be the Maximum Impact Tour in the UK, which is probably a fitting place for it. And my guess is Angle was just shooting here, but that's okay. If he's getting ready to leave the company, he's earned the right to get to choose how he wants to do it. And this way, he can give a rub to some guys on his way out. He just wants to have a series of matches with some deserving people. That's cool. That's cool. First up, Drew Galloway. All right, that makes sense. He's arguably one of TNA's, if not their top babyface at this point. All due respect to Matt Hardy, but I think Drew fits that bill a little better. So yeah, I think Drew can get a nice rub from wrestling with Angle. I don't necessarily expect him to win, but he does. He doesn't have to. Maybe, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that, but this makes sense. This is a good choice for opponents if we only get a couple more matches with Angle. Then Jesse Godderz comes out, interrupting them, looking more and more like TNA's version of The Miz. And take from that what you will. Still, I don't get it with Jesse Godderz. I'm not feeling this guy. He's not terrible on the mic. I don't think he's anything great. Still waiting to be impressed with him in the ring. He does have personality, though, I guess. Even though it's pretty much the Miz's personality. Minus the sunglasses. But then Eli Drake comes out, and things get interesting again. And we even got a tease of a possible tag team between these guys. And TNA is in dire need of tag teams right now, so I'm not going to be choosy in that regard. So yeah, another brawl turns into another brawl, and we got another good segment here. All right, okay, so far so good. So after the commercials, we get another semifinal match with Eric Young versus Matt Hardy. There was a much better balance of action versus talking on this show. And compared to what they've been doing since October, vast improvement. I cannot stress enough how much it added to my enjoyment when they decided to actually put on a show with some variety that had talking segments, that didn't feel like the writers could have cranked them out in their sleep, that had a little bit of comedy from time to time. That way, the wrestling is not so monotonous that it becomes boring because you break it up with other things that make it mean more when a match happens. So, by the time Matt versus Eric Young happens, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for another match. We got a nice mix of talking earlier, so this is a good place to have another match. Okay, cool. All right, let's do it. So, Matt versus Eric Young. Predictably, Matt wins. And here's where I started getting a real sinking feeling. The finals are now EC3 versus Matt Hardy, meaning that TNA just spent the last 3 months of this tournament just so they could arrive at the exact same goddamn place they were at before it started. All those matches, every Impact since October, all so they could build up to a match between the same guys with the same issue. Wow. And for those of you scoring at home, that means that the World Title Series was entirely fucking pointless. Bobby Roode comes out for his open challenge for the King of the Mountain Championship that I don't know why anyone would even want in the first place. Just that belt is a curse. Just throw it in the fucking dumpster. His opponent is Bram. So, not someone from another promotion like they were teasing. Not who I was expecting, but a good choice regardless. Bram is one of those guys TNA should be building up as a future main eventer, provided he can stay out of trouble. I actually wish this match had gone a little longer. I don't like that Bram lost again. I think he's been losing too much. Um, he's got all the intangibles that TNA would want in a main eventer, and I think they ought to be protecting him more than they do. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. Anyway. Yeah, he's been losing too much. So Roode wins. Post-match, Eric Young attacks Roode for seemingly no reason. I don't know where that came from. I was hoping and praying that this feud was over. Do we really need more Eric Young Bobby Roode matches? What is the point of that? Why are we having Eric Young just show up from out of nowhere? Why? What are you going to get from this? What is the point? What could possibly be gained from this? I don't know. I have no desire to see these two fight anymore. I really don't. Yeah, I mean, if you just wanted to have Bram attack Roode afterward and like attack Roode alone, that would have been cool. I would have been fine with that. Did we really need to throw Eric Young in there for seemingly no reason? Why? There was no reason for him to show up. I'm assuming he wants the King of the Mountain Championship now. Oh, Christ. So we're back to that feud again, which does not interest me whatsoever. But then James Storm makes the save. Which, unfortunately, they spoiled that surprise by accidentally playing the beer can sound effect a minute or two before he appeared. Like the beer can sound effect in his music, they just played that just for... Oh, God. Well, right then and there, you knew Storm was going to show up before he appeared, so... Nice job blowing that one. But anyway, Storm is back. There are a lot of positives here. Number one, James Storm. They managed to coax him back, which is definitely a good thing. Two, they've rebooted his character, dropping the Revolution gimmick, which had... I mean, the shelf life of that thing was long since gone. So, Revolution and all remnants of the Revolution are gone. Also a very good thing. Three, looks like we got a beer money reunion. And you could argue that this is going backwards for these two guys. You could argue that it doesn't make sense for their characters anymore. But, you know what? Roode hasn't exactly been scintillating in his latest singles run. Storm needs something interesting to do now that he's back. Something to reestablish him, put him back on the map. We can't have him just kind of fading into nothingness like that Revolution thing was rapidly doing to him. And, like I said earlier, TNA are in desperate need of tag teams. So they basically have to rebuild their entire tag team division. Right now they got the Wolves, and that's it. I'm certainly not going to complain if they want to do the Wolves versus Beer Money. That's cool. I can get behind that. Time for the knockouts. With the Dollhouse versus, oh God, the Boringful people. So, well, they finally remembered that Angelina Love is pregnant, so Velvet and Madison get a partner. I don't know why they could have remembered this in time to inform the graphics artist, but whatever. Yeah, Velvet and Madison get a partner. And instead of someone surprising, something cool, instead of something cool like the debut of a much-needed new knockout, which is very badly needed, I'm going to say, now that Taryn and Brooke are gone, they, instead of doing that, they just do the most predictable thing in the goddamn world and throw Gail Kim in there. Because that's what this needed, right? And to make matters worse, the match ends with Gail pinning Jade. The one match outcome that absolutely should not have happened, period. So the last woman in the company who needs to be protected at this point pins the one woman in the match who needed to be protected the most. For fuck's sake, TNA, was this really necessary? Okay, stupid to have the faces win, first of all, but if they absolutely had to win, did Gail have to be the one to pin Jade? Did you have to have Gail pin Jade? Did you really have to do that? Marty or Rebel? That I'd be okay with. I mean, I could still be annoyed that the Dollhouse lost, but at least I could stomach that. But Jade is the one who could really make some waves in this division. You know, she's the one with the most potential. Why are you jobbing her out when you don't have to? Why are you not saving Gail versus Jade? Why are you not kind of... You know, if anything, I think you want to keep those two away from each other just to preserve the freshness of this angle. I know it's not the first time they faced each other, but... You know, keep some intrigue there. Don't have them touch if you don't have to. This could be a good singles feud, a really good singles feud. Don't throw it away like this. But unfortunately, that's what they do. It's the same old story with Gail Kim. As much as I respect her, as much as I'm a fan of her, I'm really beginning to resent her at this point because of stuff like this. I don't want to resent her, but that's what's happening. More and more as time goes by. So the Dollhouse are pissed off after they lose the match. And they attack the faces. And then Kong's music starts up, and I called this turn before she even hit the ramp. Kong gets in the ring, teases attacking the Dollhouse, and then swerves everybody and attacks the faces. You could see that coming in your sleep. Now, was this necessary to give the Dollhouse a little bit of extra oomph, I guess? Maybe. I mean, Taryn's gone. You know, she was basically, you know, the spokesperson, the spearhead of the Dollhouse. So, I guess having Kong, should give them a little extra credibility that they might need right now. And you could argue that they needed credibility after they kind of got buried previously. But yeah, really predictable turn there. Really predictable. So, moving on. Next segment. As it turns out, the miracle is Mike Bennett with Maria. Coming out looking like Cesaro raided Armando Alejandro Estrada's closet. That's what he looked like. Seriously, I never realized how much he looks like Cesaro. It's freaky. I'm gonna reserve judgment. I'm gonna reserve judgment on these signings for a little while. Not sure how I feel about it just yet. If I'm just critiquing the debut itself, I thought this was very good. You know, Maria showing up from out of nowhere, introducing him with the lights off, them playing him up like a big deal. He cuts a good promo that the crowd gets into. It's, based on what I saw here, I think this can work. This was promising. Your first impressions on Mike Bennett and TNA was a good one. Now, let's be honest. TNA hasn't always hit a bullseye when it comes to debuting new talent. This I thought was good. They did a nice job with this. Ideally, they could have been playing those miracle vignettes earlier, but they only started posting them online the last few days. I don't know. Maybe they were playing them during those best of impacts last 2 weeks. I don't know. I didn't watch them. But, other than that, I think they did a good job with this. I don't know how I feel about Mike Bennett yet, but so far so good. But for the record, TNA, when I said you needed new knockouts, Maria doesn't count. Ain't nothing new about Maria, okay? As a manager for Mike Bennett, fine. I don't need to see her in the ring, okay? I haven't seen her wrestle since she was in WWE. Maybe she's gotten better since then. I don't know. Frankly, I don't care enough to find out. You need new girls. Okay? You just lost your top heel and the most over babyface knockout you had. Well, essentially, she was, judging by crowd reactions in the Impact Zone, by the end of her run, she was pretty much the only over babyface knockout you had. Alright? You need new girls. Find some young, up-and-comers from the indies. I can tell you who to sign if you want. But you need some new people in there. Alright? Maria's not new, okay? Just putting that out there. And now it's time for the main event. The end of the World Title Series, finally. By the time the bell rang and the finals of the World Title Series began, it was 10:52. There were 8 minutes left in the show. Thankfully, they got an overrun. And hopefully that wasn't a one-time thing, because that helps considerably. Even though for all that build-up, it still feels like the match was pretty short. Anyway, right before this, Matt is seen backstage psyching himself up by using his baby boy to give him motivation. Oh, good lord. Oh, Christ. At this point, it would have been more surprising if Matt didn't turn heel. I was getting a sinking feeling here after Mike Bennett mentioned Hardy, after Jeff and Tyrus left ringside. I had a feeling I knew how this was going to play out. I figure Mike Bennett shows up, pretends to be against Matt, then does what everyone but the announcers see coming and helps Matt win. That's what I thought was going to happen here. The outcome of this match was the real test of this show, in my opinion. More than anything else, the outcome here was what was going to tell me whether or not TNA had gained any kind of self-awareness in the last 3 months. If they could tell that the face push of Matt Hardy was completely ill-conceived, the world title push, if they had figured out that making him the world champion at the expense of EC3's win streak was a really bad idea, whether he was a face or a heel. And the outcome is mostly good news. Our Lord of Wrestling EC3 wins the match on his own, and the guy who never should have lost the title in the first place gets it back, finally. So justice is served for EC3, which will hopefully shut up Matt Hardy and his self-righteous bullshit. Surprisingly, Mike Bennett did not get involved, after kind of teasing that he would. Matt did not turn heel, though that may happen later on. And the fact that none of these things happened and the match played out straight and clean with no swerves for the most part was actually more shocking than if those things had happened. Is it possible this was all an elaborate misdirect? Like they swerve us by not swerving us? Huh. I still think what they're doing with Matt Hardy doesn't work. It still feels completely ill-conceived to me. Like they're trying so fucking hard to play him up as like the greatest guy in the world and the ultimate babyface, which to me says that they still don't understand why what happened with him at Bound for Glory was such horseshit. He was essentially the heel in that match. He cheated to win, then he starts acting incredibly self-righteous, almost to the point, well, nothing almost about it, to the point of annoyance, where he starts looking like a giant fucking hypocrite. And apparently, they don't see what's wrong with that. They don't understand why that makes him heelish. Which is, a concern, definitely. Now, I'm not saying a heel turn here would have helped. No. If they were going to do that, the time to do it was at Bound for Glory, when it would have made sense. And when people wouldn't have seen it coming. And here, people were already calling it. I was certainly calling it. I mean, here it would have been predictable as all hell. But they didn't do it. So basically we've got a 3+ month tease of a heel turn that they didn't do when it would have made sense to do, and they didn't do it later on either. So the whole thing just feels kind of awkward. Yeah, like I said, doing it now would have been a bad idea. Because, I mean, if you got to put the title on Matt Hardy, it's just no. Just no. If you No, it just the whole thing it wouldn't have worked. I'm getting off track here, but it would not have been the right place, right time for Matt. If you want to turn him heel, okay, but this was not the way to do it. It really wasn't. And they didn't do it. Thankfully, they made the right decision. TNA, you made the right decision. So that was TNA's debut on Pop TV. As a quote-unquote relaunch, how does this hold up? How does this rate? Pretty well, actually. I had a few issues, mainly with the knockouts. I could talk for a while about that whole situation. But overall, this was a good show. There were a lot of steps in the right direction here. Storylines, promos, characters. Hallelujah! Finally, we're getting a balanced wrestling show with some fucking variety to it. Okay? We're not doing a bare bones, paint-by-numbers wrestling show anymore. We're actually trying to entertain. It feels a little bit more like a TV show. And look, I like wrestling as much as anyone, but if you're just doing a wrestling show, you're not going to pull in any casual viewers. You're not going to get anyone but the hardcore fans, and you need the casual viewers. You need more people to tune in, so you got to give them a reason. You got to give them storylines and characters and promos and comedy stuff. And they made an effort to do that here. Plus, there were signs that they're putting some work into revamping the tag team division, which has needed to happen for a while. That should have been one of the first things on the agenda, and it looks like that's happening there. The knockouts are still in a rough situation. They lost 2 girls that are going to be hard to replace, which means that for the time being, the boringful people are going to be getting focused on again. Oh, Christ. Well, if you want to ask me about that later, feel free. But, work needs to be done on the knockouts. But, hey, probably the best news on this whole show, the guy who never should have lost the title in the first place has the title back. That's great news. Matt Hardy did not win the world title. Like I said before, I respect the guy, but it's not the right spot for him. It wouldn't work. You guys, sorry for any Hardy fans out there, but it wouldn't work. Not for any real length of time. It was just a bad idea. And I'll give credit to them. They surprised me here. Because I thought they were telegraphing the hell out of Matt turning heel and screwing over EC3 to win the title. The fact that they didn't was really fucking surprising to me. I was kind of stunned, actually. This was kind of funny. They swerved me by not swerving me. That's pretty impressive, I have to say. Final thoughts on the first Impact on Pop TV? You know what? TNA did a good job here. This was a good show. have some issues overall, but for their first show on the new network, they did a good job here. Did a good job here. For the first time in several months, I was genuinely enjoying myself watching Impact. And that's nice to be able to say, finally. Alright. So, let's go to the chat room, and holy crap, there are a lot of questions here. Yeah, we got a bunch of people in the chat room tonight. Holy shit. It's probably a record for me. Okay, hope you'll excuse me if I run through these fast. I may have to skip a few because otherwise, wow, we're going to be here all night. What's your rating out of 10 for tonight? Rating out of 10? Well, if I'm rating the show against itself and not any other company, based on recent impacts, I give it a solid 8. Just off the top of my head. I mean, if I thought about it more, I'd probably might give a different answer. But yeah, really good. They did a good job here. I think they deserve a good rating. Why did you think Rey Mysterio? Why do you think Matt Hardy was turning heel? Just a lot of little things. Just the way they'd set him up before Bound for Glory, after Bound for Glory. He'd been acting heelish. Whether that was the intention or not, that's how it was coming off. They were definitely teasing it. I mean, they covered all the bases you cover if your intent is to turn someone heel. You're having them act extra babyface-like just before. You know, all the dominoes were in place for the heel turn. That's why it was really surprising to me when he did not turn heel. Let's see. Happy New Year, Zach Harris. Rey Mysterio likes my hair, I'm assuming. Thank you. Yeah, somebody got a haircut. Yeah, I love that. Love that soundbite. Matt's wife looks fantastic, don't you think? Yeah. She looks good. Yeah, he did well for himself there. Not my cup of tea, but yeah. She's attractive. Direwolf, thoughts on Nakamura, AJ, Gallows, and Anderson possibly signing with WWE? Even WWE website confirmed the rumors, but can't say it officially. I'm ambivalent about it. Gallows, I don't care about. Anderson, AJ is the big one. If he's in WWE now, you know what? Good for him. AJ deserves to get rich. He's worked really hard for a long time. He said he wants to retire in the next couple of years. If he wants to go to the place where he can make the most money, he deserves to do that. I'm happy for him. The Save Me one. You would think that TNA would have signed Maria 4 years ago when she was voted Diva of the Year and 20 million people had just seen her on Celebrity Apprentice. Well, yeah, when she left WWE, she's really not that good, you guys. She's just not. Maybe people like her, but I never understood why. I never did. Now, I admit, I haven't really seen much of her since she left WWE. I've seen very little of her stuff in ROH. I'm going to assume that she's gotten better in some aspects. She's probably gotten better on the mic. Probably gotten better in several aspects of performing. I don't know what she's like as a wrestler these days, or even if she's still wrestling, but I wouldn't have signed her back then. I don't see how she would fit in with the knockout division. I really don't. Okay. Rey Mysterio, what do you think of the Rumble now being for the WWE title? Not sure how I feel about it yet. It is something different. And, God knows that WWE need to be trying different things right now. Need to be kind of shaking up the creative process. So, might be worth trying. Apparently it's been done before. It's been done before. Shaking up the formula a little bit. Probably a good thing at this point. Well, we'll see. Let's see. Direwolf, is it ironic that the dollhouse was formed from screwing over Kong, and now Kong is the leader? Yeah, that's kind of weird, huh? Not unprecedented, though. Remember when the dollhouse attacked Rebel, and then Rebel showed up and joined the dollhouse? Yeah, it's not the first time something like this has happened. Of course, they probably had to scramble for something for what to do here after Terran left. So ironic, yeah. Let's see, Jeff Atwood, your thoughts on the Rumble match being for the all right, I already said that. Ray Mastani, who was the guy with Maria tonight? That was wasn't that Mike Bennett? It was Mike Bennett, right? Am I missing something? Lucky STR8, I wish EC3 had taken Matt's kid and suplexed him for a little extra sting. Ooh, suplexing a baby, huh? That would probably be murder. Yeah, that kid would be dead. That would not be a good thing. Let's see, what's your take on the new team-up with Jesse Goddard and Eli Drake? Well, possible team-up. We don't know if that's going to happen yet, but maybe. I believe this is something I suggested earlier. I mean, they need tag teams. You know, unless they can get, like, Red Dragon or something. They're going to need a bunch of tag teams. Probably from existing people on the roster. I think Goddard and Drake are similar enough personality-wise that they could make something like that work. I'm not saying they'd be a great team, but I think it would make sense from a character standpoint. Let's see. Beer Money versus Wolves make it happen. Yep. You know, it's inarguably the biggest tag team match you could make right now. TNA commentary team is way better than Raw's and SmackDown. I'm enjoying them more right now, certainly. Probably doesn't hurt that they don't have Vince in their ear yelling at them, telling them what to do, what to say. Ray Mastani, what do you think of Beer Money reforming? You know what, I like it. Like I said, Bobby Roode was kind of spinning his wheels in his current singles run. I think what we've learned from him is that he needs somebody to play off of to really bring that personality out. And when he doesn't have that, he kind of reverts back to zero, where he just repeats the same bullet points over and over again. If he has someone like James Storm or an Austin Aries to kind of coax him a little bit to bring that personality out, then he can do it. And then he always seems to connect with the audience a lot better that way. So I think it's good. Yeah, Roode was kind of spinning his wheels, and Storm needed something to do to bring him back with a bang. I think it's a good choice. Let's see. Do you think Matthews sounds too much like Cole when it comes to using the WWE lingo, or do you think he's different from Cole? Lingo? Do you mean his method of calling matches? I don't think so. I think it's just a style of announcing that I kind of prefer at this point. Mike Tenay would just call the moves in the ring, and I think that style is just really it's kind of old. It's kind of tired at this point. I don't need you to describe the moves to me. I can see the moves. You know? Television's a visual medium. I don't need you describing what happens action-wise. I can see the action. Okay, don't tell me about the action. Tell me about the story. Tell me about what the characters involved are doing and what's going on in their heads right now. That's kind of what Josh Matthews tries to do. I honestly prefer that. Let's see. I think Matt's turning heel next week. A heel turn is probably imminent at this point. And better it happen next week than this week. Yeah. Dixie looked great tonight. Honestly, she looked about like she was about 35. Yeah. Yeah, maybe she's drinking from the same fountain of youth that Ming-Na Wen is. Is it just me, or was EC3 acting more acting like a face than a heel tonight. It's not just you. I think he's been straddling that fence for a while. Um, and, the audience is kind of stoking that fire too, because there are as many people, if not more, cheering for him than booing him. And half your audience is chanting, "You can't wrestle," and the other half is chanting, "Yes, he can." I mean, it's only a matter of time before he goes full babyface. And and he's actually been getting the varied reactions like that for a while now. So, sooner or later it's bound to happen. I mean, the fans will make it happen if nothing else. Direwolf, do you think Bram wished TNA was back in 2006? Not sure what you mean by that. Do you think more hardcore oriented? Possibly. Glad to see Kong isn't going anywhere. Her with the dollhouse should be interesting. Well, not going anywhere yet. I believe Bob Ryder said her contract was up early 2016. I don't remember when exactly. I'm pretty sure it's within the next few months. And she's been, she's been talking retirement. Apparently, she retired from competition in Japan. So, it's probably on her mind. I don't expect Kong to stick around much longer. We'll see if she resigns or if she wants to move on after, in a couple months. I'm kind of half expecting her to move on. But if they want to get some mileage out of her while they can, she wants to give the dollhouse a little bit of credibility back. That doesn't hurt. Let's see. Lucky STR, do you think Kong should have a match with anyone but Gale? Honestly, I'm over the whole Gale Kong thing by now. I mean, I respect their history and their feud from back in the day, but I'm not interested in dwelling on the past anymore. I want to see this division move forward. It's way past time the division moved forward. And, Gale and Kong, hey, I got a world of respect for them, but Gale versus Kong is the past. I want to see new things happen in this division now. And I don't want to see them dwell on the past anymore. So if they want to do... So I would like to see Kong have a match with anyone but Gale. Of the girls they currently have now, the best bet would be Jade. Unfortunately, they're in the same faction now, so that's probably not going to happen. Rey Mysterio, who do you think is winning the Royal Rumble now? Oh boy. Would they really have Reigns win it 2 years in a row? Not sure if that would be a good idea, but I don't know. It depends how much they want to make this Reigns face push work. And story-wise, it would probably make more sense to have somebody else win it. But who the hell could? If they intend to set up the main event of WrestleMania with this match, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the way things are playing out right now, it's probably be Triple H. I don't want that to happen, but they've kind of set it up that way. Yeah, that seems to be the way the wind is blowing. I just... Oh, God. There are no really... I'm not seeing any good options. I mean, the only other possibility that I can see right now would be Brock again, but that would just be a rematch from last year. I wouldn't want to see that again. Rey Mysterio, I think TNA needs more star power. You know, then they should create more stars. I don't disagree with you, but they need to create stars and to build stars. That's what they need to be doing right now. Drew needs a clean win to set up him versus EC3. I don't disagree with you if you're talking about Drew versus Angle. I don't disagree, but you know, it's Kurt's retirement tour. I leave it up to him to decide what he wants to do and how he wants to play out. If he wants to put over Drew, more power to him. But if they want to have Angle win as as just to respect the guy on his way out, you know what? I'm not going to pitch a fit about it. You know, Angle's put over a lot of guys. Yeah, I think if they want to let him beat Drew, you know what? I'm just fine. I'm not going to complain. And when Jesse Goddard came out, I immediately thought of The Miz. Oh, hell, I did too, man. You know, look at me. I was on a reality show. You know, I'm the real veteran on this network. You know, I was on Big Brother. Who the fuck cares? Big Brother. Christ. Who are the tag team champions for TNA? Right now it's still the Wolves. Of course, their title reign was put on hold for the 3 months of the World Title Series, but yeah, they're still the champions. TNA updated the roster page. It's interesting that Mickie James, Brooke, and Austin Aries are still on there, however. Oh, are they really? I noticed that they finally took Bully Ray off the roster page. He was on there for months after he left. He's been back in the WWE for a while now. He was still on the roster page until a few days ago. Jesus Christ. Brooke, Mickie, Aries, you know what? I mean, just about everybody's on pay-per-appearance deals right now. I mean, who the hell is officially on the roster and who isn't is probably kind of a murky question. Still, whatever. Insane Bob's Crazy Shack. That's a new one. After Bray gets buried by Cena, he gets his momentum back, then gets buried by Taker. Maybe Taker and Cena should have a golden shovel match. Got his momentum back after Cena? When did he do that? I don't recall him ever getting that momentum back. No. I don't recall Bray ever getting his momentum back. Really don't. Let's see. Afraid WWE is going to ruin Nakamura? Yeah, probably. Jim Kahn. I want to see Sarah Del Rey and Allison Danger destroy the Bella Twins. Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's see. They had to burn 3 months, so the World Title Series was planned so they could debut it on Pop TV. I would argue that those 3 months would have been better. It would have served them better to use those 3 months for other things. And so you could have had some big storylines climax on this episode instead of just a tournament. That's really all they were doing for 3 months was a tournament. And as a result of that being the only thing they were doing, it ended up just getting boring. It's a problem I had with it. Let's see. I'm tired of seeing Bram as well. I'm hoping that you mean seeing Bram lose. I'd rather see a match in the Indies with no storyline than a match with a boring storyline in TNA or WWE. Well, ideally, the storyline would be interesting. I wouldn't want to see a boring storyline either. Let's see, with Taryn and Brooke gone, maybe Velvet soon as well. TNA needs a couple great-looking poster girls, and Rebel and Maria fit that bill. Oh, yeah, well, Velvet, who knows? I mean, we've been through this before with Velvet. Yeah, she gets pissed off or frustrated about something. She leaves thinking the grass is going to be greener, finds out it's not, then comes crawling back with her tail between her legs, and then they take her back, and then they act like it never happened. Now, Velvet has been making no secret that she wants to go to WWE. Yeah, she's been campaigning for it. She's been, as much as begging them to hire her. I don't see it happening ever. WWE has had opportunities to sign Velvet in the past, and they never bothered. And Bubba Ray, excuse me. Clearly, Bubba Ray doesn't have the kind of pull that he would need to get her signed. So if Velvet does end up leaving, she'd probably spend some time on the indies and not get signed by any major company and then come crawling back. And then they'd take her back because that's what TNA always do. Let's see. Maria might be great-looking poster girls, huh? Maria, maybe. I could see her being a poster girl in the sense that she looks good on a poster. But as as a figurehead for the knockout division, no, that wouldn't work. Because she's not a good fit. What about Maria screams knockout to you? Rebel's kind of the same thing. She seems to be improving. I will give her that. But and I do think she has potential, but she's got such a limited window with which to realize that potential. I'm just not sure how much mileage they can get out of her. Regardless, they do need to sign some new girls. See, Gail, Kong, and Jade are great. Marty, Bell, and Madison Rain are solid. 2 or 3 more girls in TNA can pull a roster together. Yeah. Well, they lost 2 girls. They might be losing 1 or 2 more. So they need to sign at least 2 or 3. Because it looks like Maria is going to be attached to Mike Bennett, at least for the foreseeable future. That's cool with me. I don't need to see her wrestling. If she's going to be a manager, I think that's for the best. That's probably what she would be the best at. They need new girls who can wrestle. I think Cherry Bomb would be ideal. They seem to like her. They used her a lot at those one-night-only tapings last year. They brought her back a couple of times for matches on Impact. They seem to like her enough to do that much. Apparently she's going to be healthy soon. She's going to be coming back from her broken collarbone. The timing fits. Timing's right for it. I say bring in Cherry Bomb. On top of that, you need another couple girls too. So don't stop there. Where was Mahabali Shera? I don't know, he just wasn't on this episode. Probably sitting in the back waiting to be used like all the guys in the X division. Ray Bastani, how many years has TNA contracted for Pop TV? No idea. Ask Dixie Carter. If they wanted an answer to Bray Wyatt, just build a stable with Christopher Daniels. Oh wait, they fired him. What? Daniels in WWE? What? I don't know. Now, Ray Bastani, where is Taryn Terrell? She's gone. Yeah, she left. And she posted a video online, I think, yesterday. She didn't say it, but apparently she's found religion, and being a pro wrestler just doesn't work for her right now. And also, she got married, and she does have a very young little girl to take care of, and maybe she wants to focus on other things right now. So wrestling just doesn't work for Taryn right now, which is really unfortunate because she was the only significant new female star TNA had built up in several years. I mean, the last one they even tried with was probably Brooke. And they could have done so much more with her. And just when it seemed like they were really trying with Brooke, suddenly they cut her off, and then she disappeared for the better part of 2 years, and they were starting to make some headway with her again. I mean, she was getting over as a face again, and things were working, and then now suddenly looks like she's gone too, which is just really depressing. So it's back to Gail Kim and the fucking boringful people as faces now. Oh, Christ. They need new girls, and they need them now. Because that ain't gonna work for long. That ain't gonna hold people's interest for long. I'm already fucking bored with it. Okay, Gail, so be it. But the beautiful people, really? God damn it. Ugh. Let's see. We're talking about other stuff here. People talking amongst themselves. Rey Mysterio, isn't Matt and Jeff only contracted for TNA until the end of January? I don't know. I think Matt's contract is up relatively soon. I don't know about Jeff. But supposedly Matt's contract is up soon. If that's the case, and if they haven't agreed to a new deal with him, then they were right to not put the world title on him. Because they don't want to wind up in a situation like that again. Remember that time Roode's contract expired when he was one of the tag team champions? Yeah, they somehow forgot his contract was up for renewal, and he became a free agent while he was still one half of the tag team champions. Because apparently he slipped through the cracks somehow. Yeah, they don't want another situation like that happening again. If the guy's contract is up soon, don't put any fucking championships on it. Until there's a fucking contract. Just don't do it. They didn't do it. They did the smart thing. Rastani. TNA signed Nikki Bella? What? No. Okay, well, Nikki is contracted to WWE, first of all. I don't think Nikki would want to sign with TNA. Also, she's injured. She's got some kind of neck injury, I guess. No, that would be terrible. Save me one. EC3 has beat Matt 2 times clean, once in the ladder match and tonight. Matt has only beat EC3 at Bound for Glory by cheating. Time to let Matt for Champ die. I would also add to that he didn't win that match by beating EC3. He won it by pinning Drew Galloway, and that was after his brother, the referee, interfered and took out EC3 for him. So yeah, Matt technically won that match, but I'd put a big fucking asterisk next to that win. Jim Kahn, did you see the new Star Wars? What do you think? I really liked it. Really liked it. I had a few issues. I had some questions, certain things that I was kind of scratching my head over. But yeah, overall, I was a big fan of it, and I liked it more the second time I saw it. But yeah, I loved it. I love the new characters. Rey is awesome. Poe is really cool. I was kind of back and forth on Finn. I liked him again. I liked him better the second time. BB-8 is really funny. He's a worthy successor to R2-D2. I think I like BB-8 a lot. I could have used more with Poe. I wish they had more with him. Supposedly, in one draft of the script, he actually died when they crash landed on Jakku. Now, spoilers, by the way. But yeah, I guess they added him in there. They put him back in the script, and it didn't have a ton of stuff for him to do afterwards. So I could have used more with him, but overall, really liked it. Beats the living fuck out of the prequels. Holy shit. It's amazing how good Star Wars can be again when we have a director, writer, who's actually trying. Who doesn't view Star Wars as just a vehicle to generate concepts for toys. and video games and action figures and stuff. No, J.J. Abrams was actually trying to make a good Star Wars movie, and it was really good. Yeah, maybe a little too much like the originals, but hey. After the prequels, I can live with that. But no more Death Stars. No more Death Stars. That's 3 of them. The Empire's 0 for 3, okay? 0 for 3. These things just don't work. They never turn out well for the Empire. Find a new super weapon. See, Emerald 404, another new person joining us. I know it's soon. If they are to survive, they need to get rid of bigger contracts. This station is not paying for their spot, only ad spots. I believe that's what they've done. They've eliminated most of the big contracts. Angle's leaving soon. He's probably the last one there. Now, I guess after him would be the Hardys. But yes. Yeah, probably after Angle leaves, the Hardys would be the only 2 big contracts left. Other than them, I mean, they've kind of eliminated all the big contracts. I mean, Sting is gone, Hogan's gone, thank Christ. And AJ and Joe aren't there anymore. They were probably like 2 of the higher paid homegrown guys. So yeah, I don't. They probably got their finances under control. They needed EC3 to win. That's their biggest star. Well, their biggest homegrown star, abso-fucking-lutely. Totally agree. Ray Bastani, what did you think of Raw? A little better than what they've been producing for a while. It seems that WWE has gotten the message that they need to shake things up and actually try. And, last couple of weeks, it seems like they're making more of an effort to make the show somewhat engaging. I've been dozing off during the show less since they started doing this. Makes the show easier to sit through. Still don't think it's especially good, but these recent couple of Raws have been somewhat better. Thoughts on AJ going to WWE? I already said that. Great matchup potential, but scared they will disrespect him. Oh, they probably will. I would expect that AJ will end up being Zigglered. He'll probably get mired in the mid-card, kind of like Ziggler has. He may end up getting the Neville treatment. I mean, anything's possible, but if he goes to WWE, best guess is he gets stuck in the mid-card. EC3 should be a face. Oh, he probably will be at some point. And if the fans may end up turning him face regardless of what TNA wants. Lucky STR8, Batman and Superman versus Daredevil Season 2. Who's your money on for March 25th? Oh, dude, I'm not going to choose. I don't think we have to choose. But you could binge watch Daredevil Season 2 all day and then go to Batman v Superman that night. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Why choose? You can have them both. MyMag77, your thoughts on Lucha Underground becoming the alternative to WWE? They're probably the most alternative, quote unquote, wrestling product on TV right now. I've seen enough of them. I'm not watching Lucha Underground, but I've seen enough of it to know that it's not really for me. It's not really playing to my tastes, although I do appreciate that they try to be different from everybody else. They're presenting wrestling in a different way, and I've long since been saying that this is what pro wrestling in general needs to do. Not finding a new way of presenting the product. Maybe not that way necessarily, but they're trying to find a different way to present wrestling. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the creativity. Now, if it was me, I wouldn't do it this way. I think they kind of take the suspension of disbelief out, trying to make it more like, I don't know, like, they make it so obvious that it's scripted that I can't suspend my disbelief anymore. And pretty much all like semblance of a live show is removed. Yeah, and I know that's kind of the intention, but it's not the way I want to see it done. Points for effort, though. Points for originality, because they're trying something different. Isn't really for my tastes, but some people seem to like it, and I'm glad Lucha Underground is there. And that's on the championship on the line of the Rumble. Already did that. Oh, and a bunch of questions just showed up. Holy crap. Wow, a lot more questions. Okay, here we go. Dire Wolf, Gail Kim needs to go to the X Division after dropping the Knockouts title this year. If they wanted to do that, I wouldn't complain. I think Gail versus, I think it was Tigre Uno in the World Title Series was one of the few times recently that the crowd has actually gotten behind Gail, because because she was in a new situation and there was reason to take her seriously as an underdog type, and that's something that just doesn't happen in the Knockout division anymore. So there was a reason to root for her for a change. And because she was a natural underdog versus a man who had a lot of size and power over her, and because this was something genuinely new for her in a spot that you hadn't seen her in before, and if they wanted to experiment with Gale in the Knockout division, in the X division rather, I'd be okay with that. Why the hell not? And God knows there's nothing else she can do in the Knockout division that she hasn't done before. And if they kept her in the Knockout division, they'd probably just have her feuding with Kong and the Beautiful People until the end of time. I'd like to see her put over Jade, but I'm becoming less and less hopeful that that's going to happen. Impact was a lot better. Did you see when Bobby and Storm left You see when Bobby and Storm left, Bobby left the King of the Mountain title in the ring. Did he? I didn't notice that. Did he really? Did they really get rid of the King of the Mountain title? Oh my god. Oh dude, don't tease me. Oh, don't you dare get my hopes up that they're dropping that piece of shit title. Are you watching Wrestle Kingdom 10? No. See, James of Flat Boo 5H Flat Bush. Oh wow. I'm a little dyslexic here for all you new people joining us, so I'm going to get a lot of these names wrong. Don't have Pop TV till the end of the month here in New York City. You could probably find that online somewhere. I mean, everything gets uploaded to the internet pretty quickly these days. NJ, these streams prevent Fourth Dimension Fool Killer appearing. Still questioning Eric Young as a top guy. Bennett looked like Estrada. I said that, haha. Disappointed that no Anderson Spud. Glad not many Dixie promos. Why still Gale v. Kong? Okay, yeah, Bennett looked like Estrada, definitely. Well, he looked like Cesaro in Estrada's wardrobe. Yeah. I was missing Rockstar Spud too, but they couldn't fit everybody on the show. They reined in Dixie here. They limited her to one segment, which was appreciated. Why still Gale versus Kong? Well, because it seems like they don't have a lot of ideas for the Knockout division right now. And like I've said many times, they are dead set on holding on to the past with a Knockout division for as long as they possibly can. And that means, for them, that means living off the past, which means resurrecting the Beautiful People every chance they get, and continuing to live off Gale versus Kong long after the heat has died down. I think if they could, they would still be doing Gale versus Kong and still bringing back the beautiful people periodically in 2026. If all those women were somehow still there, they'd still be doing that. Because it doesn't seem like they have any original ideas. That's why I want most of these girls to go. Angelina, Velvet, Madison, all of them can go. Of course, we're probably, considering who they're married to, we're probably stuck with Madison and Angelina. But, you know, I want most of these girls to go, because I feel like we're not going to get anything really new for the Knockout division until TNA have no choice but to do something new. And the only way that happens is if most of the old guard leave. Let's see. Heel Steven, what program do you use to stream? Right now I'm using Wirecast. I used to use Google+, but for some reason they changed Google+. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't get a comments section anymore. It said comments, I kept getting a message saying that the comments section was disabled. For the life of me, I could not figure out how to re-enable it. So now I'm using Wirecast, which does not have a comment section either, but at least with the Wirecast I get the chat room. Because we need people to be able to post here so I can interact with. Because that's the plus side to streaming these reviews, is that I can interact with people. Which I like doing. So right now I'm using Wirecast until I can figure out how to get the comments section back. Kayri420, I hope I pronounced that right. It says Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Between TNA and Lucha Underground, who has more chance to be an alternative to the WWE? More chance? I don't think it's about chances. I'd say right now probably Lucha Underground, because they're making more of an effort to be different and stand out from the rest of the pack. But TNA in the sense that they have a wider audience. Not as much as they used to, but at least internationally, they have the second largest audience. So, let's see. Van Chaps, good show, interesting surprises. I'm still wanting for when AJ Styles returns for one last match at least. Anything's possible, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. UCD3AD. So when can we expect TNA to print money by booking EC3 versus Eli Drake for the world title? Oh, dude. They wouldn't even have to book him for the world title. Just book him in cutting promos off each other. Dude, having them wrestle each other would be the least interesting thing they could do. Just give them microphones and just have them cut promos on each other back and forth. You'd have some comedy gold right there. JimCon1472. Any advice for people making YouTube videos? I don't know. Look at what other people are doing, other people that have an audience, and I'm not going to say model yourself after them, but try to see, okay, well, what are they doing that makes them popular? See if I can do that, but put your own spin on it. And try to be what makes you, you. Try to if you're going to make videos, make the videos that only you could make. There's a lot of people that, like they put no effort into their videos at all. And, it's, God, how do I say this? It's like they make videos that anybody could make. It's like, so many people, they just blend into the crowd. When I started making videos, I was kind of experimenting with a bunch of different things. I'd try this, try that, try different stuff, and eventually I found a style that worked for me, and people seemed to like it. And I was doing I did things that nobody else in the IWC was doing, to my knowledge. I thought that made me stand out and help me be unique. And I think hopefully people would appreciate that. And try to be unique, but try to find. Well, I lost my train of thought, but watch people that have an audience and don't copy them, but try to find a way to reach the same audience, but do it in your own way. Do it that's in a way that is uniquely you. Make the videos that only you can make. It's the best advice I can give you. Let's see. Andre Corbeil has joined us. Just got in, missed TNA tonight because my car broke down on the side of the highway. Oh, yeah, I saw that on Twitter. Rough break. But they're rerunning the show. They're replaying the show directly afterwards, so you can still catch most of it. Let's see. KM. There's nothing to understand. She has one skill, and she's not very good at it. Assume you're talking about Maria. Let's see. They better not have Reigns win again. Hopefully not. Probably more creative possibilities if he loses. NJ, love the beer money reunion, but guess NXT did not want Storm enough and he stayed a free agent. I like Kurt putting people over on his way out. Maybe a final steel cage match. I kind of hope not. Kurt doesn't need to be doing those matches anymore. I don't think it's necessary. Just let him wrestle, guys. He doesn't need to be doing a steel cage. Plus, I think we've had enough steel cages for a while. At this point, I'm probably always going to be arguing in favor of not doing a gimmick match when it comes to TNA because, just given their history, I think less is more. Okay, Andre Corbeil is in favor of pairing up Eli Drake and Jesse Goddard. All right, yeah, I would agree with that. I think it makes sense character-wise. Not sure how they'd match up as wrestlers, but in terms of their personalities, I think it makes sense. And the TNA does need tag teams, so I'm not going to be choosy. Let's see. Bret Hart used to do the same kind of promos that Roode does. I suppose so. For me, it becomes kind of noticeable for me when Roode cuts promos on his own because he tends to fall back on the same tropes, like the same collection of tropes over and over again. And if you pay attention closely, you kind of notice that he's kind of repeating himself. He'll say the same basic things. And not that they're poorly delivered, but I kind of want him to say something else. Or have the writers give him some different verbiage to say. And, instead he kind of says the same stuff, unless he has somebody to work with. If you put him with James Storm, suddenly that personality comes out. With Austin Aries, same thing. And so, whatever I don't know what it is about Bobby Roode, but for some time that personality always seems to shine a lot more when he has somebody to work with. Let's see. Okay. I didn't notice that. Bram botched the line by saying 2016 and not saying 2016, but it said 2006. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, James of Flatbush. Do you think TNA should bring in a new breed of wrestlers, male and female? Probably. Definitely female. They need some new knockouts. Badly. Let's see. Whole world, I don't think Gail cares about the knockout division. If she did, she would not be hogging the spotlight all the time and pass the torch already, or at least become an agent. I think that's going too far. I think she does care about the knockout division. I also think that the people running the division portray her as like the greatest woman wrestler alive, and I think Gail enjoys that a little bit more than she should at this point. Um, I think they are dead set on having her be the head of the knockout division as long as humanly possible. And my issue is that this mindset has become detrimental at this stage of the game. In 2016, it's like you don't need to have Gail Kim in this position anymore. You don't need to have her be the figurehead when she was. That's the same thing she was doing in like 2007. It's like, look, all due respect to Gail, but we need to move forward here. We need to change things up. Gail can still contribute to the knockouts without being at the head of the division. Okay, that's not necessary anymore. And her continuing to be in that spot is kind of holding the division back. It's preventing the division from changing and evolving. And, in a lot of ways, I think Gail is a crutch that they're afraid to be without in the knockout division. And I'm sure Gail cares very much about the knockout division. I'm just not sure. I think her heart is in the right place. I'm not sure if her brain is in the right place. I'll say it that way. Let's see. Also, who taught Jericho the phrase trap queen? I don't know. I'm wondering what a trap queen is. Let's see. Michael Walker, I've combat a lot of TNA faithfuls with this. How is TNA ever to be prosperous in the future if they always doing the same thing all the time? I don't think they are doing the same thing all the time. I think they have certain go-to angles that they go back to periodically. I think no, I think at the very least TNA do try different things. I think the problem is that most of them end up not working. But I mean, as much as I complained about the World Title Series, it was something new. The announcers, calling a show in front of a green screen in a virtual studio, that was something new. They've tried different things. Some of them don't stick. Some of them just go away. But they try different things. Ian Israel, Mickey James is so meh now. Okay. Man, I like Mickey. I've always been a fan of hers. I don't, I respect her. I don't necessarily think I need to see her on Impact anymore. KM. Excuse me. King Mo is still on the roster page. They most likely only removed the people who threatened them with legal action. Yeah, King Mo. I mean, when the hell's anything ever going to happen with that? Probably not at this point. Jeff Atwood, is it true that Nikki Bella's career injury could be career-ending? No idea. No idea. James of Flatbush. Is Rebel still green in the ring? Oh, yeah. I give her points for improving. I saw signs of improvement in this match tonight. But yeah, I mean, she's not been wrestling that long. I mean, they brought her up to the main roster when she barely had a handful of matches. So yeah, I mean, she's very inexperienced. Points for showing progress, though. I'll give her that. Let's see, NJ, since Bully joined the WWE as Bubba and Bubba tweeting pictures of her with him and Devon, I've been wanting to see it more. I still have hope. Gail could eventually go to NXT, but I doubt she will. Oh yeah, Bubba's trying to get Velvet in. I don't see it happening. Gail... Yeah, I don't see Gail ever going back to WWE. She really seemed to hate her time there. I wouldn't rule it out. Never say never and all that, but I don't. I highly doubt it. I mean, it's not like she's got the celebrity chef husband, so it's not like she needs the money at this point. Direwolf 87. Should TNA consider re-signing Taylor Hendricks since they do need to sign new knockouts and she could be one of them? You know what, man? I think they missed the boat on Taylor Hendricks. I was a proponent of her from a very early stage, from when she showed up in OVW. I was like, you know what? She's green. She's not that good yet, but you know what? This girl's got something. Not sure what it is yet, but she's got something. Now I've watched her progress. I'm watching her when she has a match in Women of Honor. She's gotten better. I don't know if she'll ever be like a Gail Kim level wrestler, but she's gotten better. She can hold her own. She looks like a Maxim cover girl. She's fucking drop dead gorgeous. She's great on the mic. Got a ton of charisma. I think if TNA brought her back, you know what? I'd be alright with it. I think they could have done more with her. I was disappointed when she left. Apparently she didn't enjoy her time there. That's unfortunate. But, Taylor Hendricks has got a lot of star quality. I think she's underrated in that regard. Ka-M. Rebel is the drizzling shits in the ring. Many of her indie matches are on here, so you can track her lack of progress fairly easily. Well, I'm not saying she's especially good. I'm saying that she's gotten better. Judging by her matches in TNA, I think she's gotten better from when she started wrestling. I'm not saying, that's all I'm saying. Getting better does not equal great wrestler. I think she has made progress, though. Ian Israel, if Cherry Bomb comes in, she'd bring her hubby Pepper Parks with her. Not if they didn't want to sign him. See, AJ is the same way like Taryn, so why can't Taryn just stay in TNA? I don't know. Maybe her religious views are not the same as AJ's. I mean, AJ can be religious and still be a wrestler. Maybe that's not the way Taryn feels. Maybe that's not something she wants in her life anymore. Who knows? Bring in Athena Reese. Athena is in WWE now. Yeah, so TNA missed the boat on her, unfortunately. For the betterment of TNA as a company, I think they need to partner with some mainstream independent promotions. It just seems like more of a smart choice. Okay. They would have access to some talent from those places. Aside from that, I'm not sure how that would help TNA much. It would help those indie promotions. Be more exposure for them, but... yeah. Direwolf 87, why do people think Ray is a Mary Sue character, and also Lucas complained about the new movie and then retracted it? Well, Ray is a Mary Sue character, okay. I don't technically agree, although I can definitely see where they're coming from. Well, for starters, she's a great fighter. She can hold her own in a fight, and she can fly the Millennium Falcon. She can outmaneuver TIE fighters. So she's just naturally an awesome pilot. She defeats Kylo Ren. Okay, spoiler alert, by the way. She can defeat Kylo Ren in lightsaber combat despite apparently never holding a lightsaber before, and despite having no prior Force training. She can do the Jedi mind trick. She just magically knows how to do the Jedi mind trick, apparently with no prior training. She gets it on like her third try. And how did she even know the Jedi mind trick exists? I don't know. She just knows how to do it. And other stuff like that. There's been speculation that Rey has had prior Jedi training, but the memories of it were suppressed, which could be something that they'll explain in the next movie, Episode 8. So, I think there's a lot more about Rey that we haven't learned yet that could probably explain some of that stuff. But yeah, I understand the Mary Sue argument. I think there was enough in the movie that showed her being flawed where I didn't raise that argument myself, but it was close. That was one of my gripes with the movie. I think they made her a little too awesome. I mean, if they wanted to have her be not so good at some other things, that would be all right. Let's see. Also, Lucas complained about the new movie. Well, yeah, because they didn't make it like he wanted them to. Apparently he gave them, he told them his ideas for the new movie, and they didn't use them. And after the prequels, who the fuck could blame them? You know? I think Anthony Daniels said something in an interview where when they were, with George Lucas as a director, he would always do what he wanted to do, not take anyone else's opinions or ideas into account. He would just do what he wanted to do, whether it was a good idea or not. And by comparison, J.J. Abrams is much more collaborative and listens to other people's ideas and stuff. But Lucas always wanted to do what he wanted to do, regardless of what anybody else thought. So it's not surprising that he would complain about the new movie because they didn't use any of his ideas. So, was Lucas a little butthurt about that? Probably. And of course, he retracted it when The Force Awakens smashed all box office records and continues to do so several weeks later. I mean, it's on track to be the #1 movie of all time, and it's probably going to beat Avatar's domestic gross in a few days. Internationally, it probably will be the biggest movie of all time when all's said and done. So Lucas complaining about the movie after that would just make him seem petty. Let's see, I don't know, but Matt Hardy, JGH Silla, Matt Hardy wrestled like he gave up on this company. Yeah, not his best performance. Yeah. So maybe he doesn't know if he's going to be staying around. Michael Walker, Athena versus Naomi, just saying. Oh, that would be a very nice match. Very nice match. Let's see. And the two of them could do some insanely athletic stuff together. Roode doesn't have a big contract. He's been there for a long time now. No, Roode probably has as big a contract as any of the homegrown guys have. But would he have a Kurt Angle contract or a Sting contract? No, he wouldn't. Ah, crap. A whole shit ton more questions. Holy shit. Oh, here we go. What are they going to do when Gail Kim retires? Has Dixie been investing in holographic technology? Oh, yeah, replace Gail Kim with a solid light hologram. I wouldn't put it past them to try something like that. What are they going to do when Gail Kim retires? I don't know. I've raised that question myself. I don't think they know. I don't think they have any plan for what happens when Gail leaves. Because one day, Gail is not going to be there anymore. They need to be ready for when that day comes. The Knockout division as a whole needs to be ready to operate without Gail Kim at the head of it. They need to be preparing and grooming people to kind of take over and step into her shoes when that day comes. They're not doing that. They haven't bothered to do that. They haven't bothered to groom anyone to take over that spot. And the closest they came was Taryn. And they kind of eased off on her, and then she left. Best choice out of the girls they have now is Jade. That's why I'm pissed off that she got jobbed out tonight. By Gail, no less. But yeah, they need to go out and they need to find some girls who can be their top knockout. Gail's not going to be there forever. Kong might not be there much longer. After that, who they got? They got a couple. They got the beautiful people, all of whom should have been de-emphasized and phased out a long time ago. And then you got the Dollhouse. I like the Dollhouse generally. But, they haven't been groomed for that spot yet. So they got to find some girls who could take over for Gail Kim someday. And they need to sign them. They need to bring them in and start grooming them. Otherwise, when the day comes that Gail Kim leaves, the division's just going to fall on its ass. Zach Harris, are you looking forward to Deadpool? Yeah, sure. I'm not really a Deadpool guy. He's not one of my favorite characters or anything. But I'll see the movie. Let's see. Thanks for letting me know. I hope Athena stays in NXT. Otherwise, I hope she doesn't get buried like Sasha Banks. I wouldn't say Sasha Banks has been buried. And they're not exactly doing anything with her right now, but I believe she's the only one of the three NXT girls to be brought up that is still undefeated, I think. But yeah, I mean, they're not really doing anything with her, but they're not exactly burying her. Who's a better alternative? Well, I don't know. Lucha Underground or TNA, I don't compare the two. It's apples and oranges. They're two very different companies. Just in terms of being alternative, probably Lucha Underground, just by virtue of how different they try to be from everybody else. But like I said, it's really apples and oranges. Let's see. Buy or sell, EC3 or Seth Rollins? I go EC3, dude. I thought EC3 was was and is one of the best world champions TNA has had in a very, very long time. Certainly the best homegrown star they've had, maybe ever. By comparison, Seth Rollins, I got so bored with his world title reign. I was waiting for him to lose that title. It wasn't resonating with me much at all. Man, it started out, maybe they had something good when he first had the title, we first got the title, but man, they fucked that up. I think Rollins did everything he could to make it work, but that was really down to poor writing, poor booking. So based on that, I'd take EC3. NJ would like to see Anderson versus Mike Bennett. I think that would be a good feud. Maybe a short-term feud. The thing is, Anderson has kind of been mired in the mid-card. Doesn't really win matches that often. I wouldn't really take him seriously in a top spot. It seems like that's the spot that Bennett is going to be entering the company as. Kind of like an upper mid-carder. It seems like they want to push him towards Matt Hardy, which is fine. Matt's in a higher spot than Anderson is right now. I think personality-wise it would be good if Anderson were positioned better, but right now he's not. Victor Perez Feliz. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. I like very much your channel. I don't understand why you have so low subscribers. Well, who knows why people watch what they do? I've fought tooth and nail for those for however many subscribers I have right now. I think it was like around 3,000 last time I checked. I haven't seen the exact number. Whatever it is. But, I appreciate the subscribers I have. I could probably have more if I would talk more about WWE, which I've said before, but I don't really want to talk about WWE that much these days. Let's see. What do you think of Matt's wife's final stare after the match? Do you expect a Matt heel turn on Jeff or Tyrus or EC3? I think a Matt heel turn is probably coming up in the near future. If it's not, then pretty much everything they've been doing with him since just before Bound for Glory has been more ill-conceived than I thought. Yeah, that final look did seem to indicate a heel turn. But who really knows at this point, man? I thought they were going to turn him heel tonight, and that didn't happen. Jeff Atwood, how is Fourth Dimension Fool Killer, and what is he up to? He's probably waiting to come back with a bang. You know, he's very egotistical. And he always, when he shows up, he always wants all the attention to be on him. So he's probably waiting to come back in a way that would be very impactful and make a statement. And probably not be anything like what he was doing before, and probably find like a whole new and innovative way to torture me. That's probably what he's thinking about right now. Oh boy, Andre Navarro got here late. Can you give a short review for us stragglers? Short review. Wow. Good show overall. Had a few issues with it. I don't particularly like what they're doing with the knockouts right now for a number of different reasons. I think that division needs to be revamped. Overall, the show was pretty good. They're making efforts to build the tag team division back up. I liked the outcome of the World Title Series. Even if the way they got there from a creative standpoint was kind of questionable. But there were some surprises. Surprising, and then I was expecting things to happen that did not happen. So they swerved us by not swerving us. And I'm not complaining about that, because I like the result. But, yeah, there were some positive steps taken here. I thought it was a much more engaging, more interesting show than what they've been doing for the last 3 months. Being out of the Impact Zone helped a lot. Being live helped a lot. And I liked what I saw. It was a good show. Is GFW irrelevant? Dude, GFW hasn't been around long enough to be irrelevant. Or relevant, for that matter. I don't know. Ask me a year from now. Tori Holden, I'm a huge ROH fan, but what do you think they can do to get more eyes on the product, in your opinion? Stop catering to only the hardcore fans. Alright? Now, as much as we in the IWC would like to think differently, the hardcore wrestling audience does not make up a majority of the audience. The hardcore fans are a small percentage of the audience. That's the only part of the audience that ROH caters to. And as long as they continue to cater only to those people, then those are the only people that are going to watch. If ROH wants a bigger audience, they got to cater to the casual fans. It's that simple. Yeah, they got to do more stuff. Yeah, more variety. Yeah, they got to have more storylines and promos, and stop trying to make their show all about just wrestling. I've tried getting back into ROH a couple of times now, and every time I do, I just run into the same problem. It's all just wrestling, and I need other stuff to make, because the other stuff makes the you need like a good balanced show has other things on it, because those other things make the wrestling mean more and stand out more. When you're only doing wrestling, okay, well, fine if that's what you want to do, but that also means that only the hardcore wrestling fans are going to watch. And it's not as big an audience as you think it is. D1, which big movie this year are you looking forward to? Deadpool, X-Men, etc. X-Men Apocalypse, for starters. I've wanted to see Apocalypse in a movie for a long time. I think Oscar Isaac is a great actor. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, Batman v Superman, obviously. Even though I'm not sure what to think about it based on that final trailer. It seems like they're cramming a lot of stuff into that movie that doesn't necessarily need to be there. I mean, Batman versus Superman, that's your movie. Did you really need to put Doomsday in there? I mean, Doomsday should get his own movie. You know, Batman versus Superman, Superman versus Doomsday is a movie in itself. I mean, cramming him into Batman v Superman feels like a mistake to me, but we'll see. And also, Captain America Civil War. Also, you know, Marvel's pretty much batting 1,000 with all their movies lately, so, well, pretty much since the cinematic universe started, so I expect that to kick ass. Does a triple facepalm graphic apply to the booking of the beautiful people? Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't know what to fucking say about the beautiful people anymore. I don't know why TNA keep bringing this fucking gimmick back. Okay, you tried resurrecting it. You know, the last Beautiful People revival completely tanked. No one cared. So you bring it back again. And this time you put Medicine Rain back in there too, even though every time there's been 3 people in this group, it hasn't worked. And why? So they can feud with the Dollhouse? There's no feud here. The Dollhouse should win every fucking match. Why? Because the Beautiful People are fucking done. Okay, this group... The fucking Beautiful People haven't been interesting or relevant in so long now. TNA just refused to let go of it. They bring it back every time they don't know what to do with these women. And the fact that they keep bringing it back just shows that they have no good ideas for them anymore. So, if they have no good ideas for them anymore, why don't they just get rid of them? Instead of bringing back this fucking gimmick that I don't think anyone really wants to see. It's old. It's tired. Let's just move on to something new. Christ. Logan Garner, can you help me out with my channel and give me a shout out or check out my channel? Maybe give me a few hints. Alright, check out Logan Garner's channel. He's in the chat room right here. I talked about like new people making videos a little bit earlier. Just rewind the tape. Rewind the video, rather. Mariah Benetatos. Oh, God help me pronounce that one. I hope I got it right. Yep, shave my head. This is what I do now. I let my hair grow really long and then I cut it. And I just cut it all off. It's very freeing, actually. Let's do it, because I don't have to comb it or do anything to it, really. I can just roll out of bed and get dressed. I don't have to do anything. It's really nice. Where has annoying DJ Z and Joey Ryan? Joey Ryan hasn't been in TNA for a while. DJ Z is still there. He just wasn't on this show. Alright, I'm kind of new to your channel, but it looks cool. Alright, cool. Cool, thanks for showing up. Thanks for checking me out. These Impact, live stream reviews are kind of a new thing. Only been doing that the last couple of months. Before that, the reviews were different when I was pre-recording them and editing them and post-producing them and all that stuff. I switched over to this because I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't have as much free time as I used to. And so I can get them over and done with faster this way. Plus, I get to interact with people more. So it saves time. Plus, I also have another series that I do weekly, where I talk about all the comic book type shows, or at least the ones I watch. So we stream about that, and that'll be starting up again in a couple of weeks. I think 2 weeks, maybe sooner. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for checking me out. Supreme Phantom, Jade sucks. Okay, agree to disagree on that. Eva Marie rules. Okay, now I know you're trolling me. Let's see. Rey is Luke's daughter. That's my theory, yeah. There's some people out there who think she might be Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter. I'm not sure how that would work since Jedi are forbidden to love. Um, some people say that they can have sex but they can't love. I don't know. Making her Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter would feel like it would be retconning stuff about Obi-Wan Kenobi that I would prefer not be retconned. It's like, well, why change a character if you don't make changes to the character if you don't have to? It just feels like it would go against everything we know about Obi-Wan in the movies. I think making Rey Luke's daughter would make sense. If this new trilogy is supposed to be about the Skywalker family, as we've been told it is, I think it would make sense. That way, Luke can at some point say get the "I am your father" line, which I'd really like to see him say to somebody. Also, because it would really annoy a lot of people on Tumblr who are really into this the Reylo pairing, because they want Rey and Kylo Ren to be in a relationship, even though Kylo Ren is a bad guy who has done a lot of horrible things, who ordered the massacre of those villagers who was on board with the First Order, destroying entire inhabited planets, who murdered Han Solo. Yeah, they're shipping Rey and Kylo Ren together. So they love the Rey as a Kenobi theory. Tumblr does. I think it makes more sense from a storyline standpoint for Rey to be Luke's daughter. I think it makes way more sense. Her being a Kenobi, I'm not putting it past them, but I don't want to see them go that route. I think Rey being Luke's daughter, while it might be more predictable, I think that's the best story. Let's see. Plus, I mean, Rey does look like a Skywalker. At least the Skywalker women. Yeah, she looks like Shmi Skywalker. She looks like Padme. She looks like Leia. And so yeah. Okay. Direwolf87, do you think Lucas is like Vince in that regard? And that he likes to micromanage everything and have things his way? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Supreme Phantom, I think you're just trolling me, so pardon me if I ignore you from now on. Lucky STR8, what are your thoughts on Manic TJ Perkins subtly bashing The Force Awakens and praising the prequels? I think he's just trolling people. He's just healing people. You know, the Young Bucks do stuff like that all the time. You know, they're just trying to get heel heat. I don't know. I stopped following TJ Perkins, I think. Yeah, but I think he's just trying to get a rise out of people. Mm. Is George Lucas like Vince McMahon in terms of ideas? No wonder WWE's booking sucks. Any ways to improve WWE's booking? Yeah, stop letting Vince micromanage everything. That would be a start. Look how Star Wars improved when they kicked Lucas out of there. They stopped listening to his ideas. Does Vince McMahon really strike you as somebody who's in touch with the audience at this point? So, all right. It is well after 1 a.m. So let's try to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes or so we can all hit the sack, and I can hit the showers and then get something to eat. All right? Man, I appreciate all the questions and all the people tuning in here. I really do. But I gotta cut us off sometime. Whole World, I know you don't like the boss character, but how do you feel about Sasha Banks' wrestling? I have no complaints about her wrestling. She's talented. My only real complaint ever about Sasha Banks is that I don't care for the gimmick. And I understand that I'm in the minority in that one, so apparently that's a situation where I just don't get it. I've just never been a fan of the boss thing. It feels fake to me. I look at her doing the character. I feel like this is a person who's just playing a part, and this is not who she really is. She feels like she's acting. It all feels kind of forced, at least in my opinion. Apparently, I'm alone on that one. And okay, everybody else likes it. All right, I can be an island unto myself on that score. It's all right. Ali S. What's more distracting, the glitches during the beer money vignette or Mike Bennett's Armando Alejandro Estrada getup? Distracting? Probably Mike Bennett's suit. When he showed up, that was all I could think about. I was like, what? Dude, that doesn't look like... It looks like Cesaro wearing... dressed like Armando Estrada. I was like, that was all I could... I was having trouble paying attention to the promo. I was like, wow, he looks weird. Beer money, I didn't really notice the glitches there. Yeah. Who is more of a self-righteous dick, Hardy or Fourth Dimension Fool Killer? Oh, self-righteous dick? Oh, Hardy is. Fourth Dimension Fool Killer is a lot of things. Self-righteous is not one of them. No, he's not trying to be righteous. He knows he's an asshole. And he's very proud of that. That's not what Hardy is. Hardy, he was acting like an asshole, but trying to pretend that he was not. JGH Zilla, if you're asking about Maria, she has basically been booked on the Indies as a valet, and she has done great as one. Okay, cool. And like I said, if she's going to be, a manager for Mike Bennett, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't care to see her in the ring. Now, I don't know what kind of, I know she's done some wrestling, on the Indies, maybe in ROH too. Since she left WWE, I haven't really seen much of it. But I think most of her stuff has been like character-based, manager-based. If that's what she's here for, okay. What would that turn a casual fan into a hardcore fan if TNA gets that audience? We were all casual fans at one time, now hardcore fans. I think that speaks more about the person than the product. I think it has more to do with what an individual person is looking for. I mean, we all became hardcore fans, but there were reasons why we did that. I don't think it had anything to do with the show. It's about us and what we're looking for as fans of and what kind of entertainment we like. Do you think Destination America shot themselves in the foot in regards to getting rid of TNA and ROH? I don't know. Apparently they were really eager to get rid of them by the end. Supposedly, wrestling had increased the channel's viewership, or I think that's what Eric Young said in an interview. I don't know. I stopped looking at the ratings, so I'm not sure. I know TNA was increasing our Destination America's viewership on Friday night, at least in the beginning, before I stopped looking at the ratings. And considering how eager they were to get rid of wrestling by the end, I would suspect that was not the case anymore. But I don't really know for sure. Tori Holden, another new person joining us. I've seen all your TNA reviews from 010 to 013 over the past 2 weeks. Are you still pissed about the Fourth Dimension Fool Killer swerve? Wow, you watched all my videos for 3 years over the past 2 weeks, huh? I appreciate your dedication. Wow, that's very flattering. So thank you. Am I still pissed about the Fourth Dimension Fool Killer swerve? Oh, dude, I'll always be pissed about that. Oh, that son of a bitch. He was working me for, God, what the hell was it? Must have been like a good 8 months or something like that. Oh, God, he fooled everybody, that bastard. Making everybody think I was the leader of the Aces and Eights. Son of a bitch. That'll always be a sore spot. Do you watch New Japan? No. Oh, don't remind me of Lacey Von Erich. Oh, dude, just block that from memory, man. Repress that memory. I have. Okay, I pronounced your name right, Mariah. Good. Okay, thank you. Uh, get rid of them. Imagine if your boss was like, "Yeah, we have no use for UFK. I know he needs work. It's his living, but let's let him go." I try to come up with something new for them. Dude, the problem with the beautiful people is that they've done everything. Okay, you've done so much with this faction, there's nothing you can do with them that they haven't done already. Now, and your efforts to find new things for them to do have not worked, have not panned out. Inevitably, they always go back to the same fucking thing. And it's not interesting anymore. It hasn't been for a very long time now, and they just keep doing the same thing. And plus, I mean, God, they've been there off and on since fucking 2007. Almost 9 years now. How much more mileage do you think they can get out of these people? I say I want them gone because it's just time to fucking move on to someone else. I have no desire to see the beautiful people doing anything anymore. I just want them to go away and make room for new people. Let's see. CM Punk agrees with you on the prequels and calls people who like them the Phantom Menace on Twitter. Dave Gorman, I think Ray is Han's daughter. Okay. I could see that. I think he would have known. I think there would have been some indication if she were. They did have that moment with Ray and Leia at the end. I didn't see anything really there that would indicate a parent-child relationship. Plus, I think Leia's force sensitive. She would know. I think we would have had some indication if Ray was her daughter too. I mean, Leia may not be a Jedi, but I mean, she knows enough about the Force to know when Han died. Spoilers. So we can assume that Luke taught her some things about the Force. And if Rey was her daughter, even if they hadn't seen each other in years, I think Leia would have known. I think they would have given us some indication there. So no, I don't think so. Let's see. NJ, what is your Tumblr? You know what? I do have a Tumblr account, but I go by a different name on there. I don't talk about wrestling there. That's just for other stuff. So I kind of like to keep that to myself, just because that's for like other interests. You know, just like everything like non-wrestling that I'm into. So I kind of like that to be separate. Let's see. Zach Harris, Rey and Kylo Ren shipping is worse than Skyward. Oh God, dude. Don't get me started on that. I posted something about that just the other day, where I said there were kind of creepy similarities between the two, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like the Kylo, like the Reylo pairing, because it's a lot like Skyward. And people on Tumblr always bitch about quote unquote abusive relationships. What the hell do you think this is? Kylo Ren's a bad guy. Okay, he's just sympathetic. He's just sympathetic enough to where all the fangirls think they can fix him. You think he's redeemable, and maybe he is. I don't fucking know, but I'm not shipping Kylo Ren with anyone except the business end of Rey's lightsaber. After all the shit he did in The Force Awakens, dude, if he doesn't get redeemed, I'm cool with that. I'm rooting for Rey to cut the dude's head off. And it's again when he does so many bad things, it's like, why are you shipping him with anyone? I don't understand that. It's the same thing with Skyward. It's like, oh, will they ever be together? Will Ward be redeemed? No, Ward is a bastard. He's an unrepentant fucking sociopathic murderer who does not want to be redeemed. That's why I don't ship him with Daisy. Of course, I was never really into that pairing in the first place. I think they were way more interesting as enemies. Right now, it's kind of how I feel with Rey and Kylo Ren. Get your trim on. I really don't see how or why people praised this old movie in a new package. Okay, not sure to what you're referring. Oh. Oh, you mean like Force Awakens. Alright. Oh, there were many allusions to the original trilogy. I will say that. I could have done... had it been me, I would have preferred they do a little bit more that was original. I mean, I didn't really need to see a third Death Star. It's like, if you want to do a different super weapon, okay. I mean, we've been here, done this. But there was enough stuff that was new in there that I was satisfied. And plus, this felt more like they were paying homage to the original trilogy than just shamelessly ripping it off like Lucas did in the prequels, where who just basically copy everything that he did before. Watch the Plinkett reviews for what I mean. Let's see, Wizard66, Rey may have an attachment problem in the future movies. She voluntarily stayed on Jakku to wait for her family. It was clear that she could have left at any point on her own. Excuse me. Well, yeah, possibly. Although, she did eventually choose to not return to Jakku. Because, what was that other character's name? Maz Kanata? Something like that? Said, look, okay, they're not coming back. Deep down, you know that. The belonging you want is not behind you, it's in front of you. And ultimately, Rey chose to move forward, not backwards, so... Yeah. Oh, holy crap. Okay, you know what? I am going to... cut off. I'm going to cut us off here. I'm going to go through the rest of the questions, and this will be the cutoff point right now, because it's 1:30 a.m., and I got some stuff to do. So anything below this bar that I am posting now, right there, that'll be for next, that will be, sorry, but that's our cutoff point right there. Okay. Direwolf, should Bennett start breaking cigars? No, he reminds me enough of Armando Estrada. Don't need the cigars too. See, I'll give you that. I just don't want to see a damn backstory of why the new Darth Vader came to be. Oh, I could actually do with some backstory. I assume you're referring to Kylo Ren, right? No, I want backstory. I want to see what happened there. Because it looks like Darth Vader appeared to him in a Force vision, or what he believed to be Darth Vader, and ended up seducing him to the dark side. I want to see how he was seduced to the dark side. How he came to think that he needed to wipe out the new Jedi Order. I mean, that's an interesting backstory. I want to see what happened with that. Now, I'm assuming Snoke was manipulating him unbeknownst to him. So, yeah. Probably has a lot to do with Snoke, who may or may not be Darth Plagueis. We don't know yet, but I want to find out. I want to see Kylo's backstory. Let's see. Dave Gorman. How many times has Uncle Ben died now? Twice. Saw it in the Sam Raimi movies. We saw it in the Mark Webb movies. It's twice. I agree, we don't need to see it a third time, and they're not going to show it a third time in the new Spider-Man movies in the MCU. NJ was thinking as singles knockouts, not as a group. Couldn't each knockout have a fresh storyline for each one? Well, give each knockout a storyline, fresh storyline. That would probably be asking too much of these writers. The way things are right now, the knockouts get one, maybe two segments a show. And if you wanted each of them to get their own storylines, you'd have to, well, you'd probably have to incorporate them into the males, into what the men are doing, and kind of have not all of them involved in the knockout division, have some of them involved in storylines with the guys, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, you'd have to really spread them out across the entire show. And well, I don't think they all need storylines, first of all, because I don't find them all interesting. I don't find Velvet interesting. I don't find Angelina interesting. I don't find Madison interesting. You know, they've all been around for a very, very long time. It's just, no matter what they do, I just don't care anymore. I don't care to see them get storylines. I just want them to leave. Doesn't really matter what you do with them, because I'm not going to care either way. Okay. Tori Holden had been subscribed since 2008. Cool. Dave Gorman, Leia does know. I think she hid it from Han. Huh. Okay. I can see that, I guess. I still don't think that's what they're going for. Like I said, I would prefer that Rey be Luke's daughter, but if they wanted to do that, I guess. I would still have a lot of questions. Ramastani, where do you see TNA in 1 year? Probably exactly where they are. We'll see if they can make any forward momentum. They've tried to do that and not been able to pull it off. I guess it would depend on how supportive Pop TV is, how much advertising they get. It would depend if they can get their asses to get their shit together creatively. And if history is any indication, they'll probably fail more than they succeed on that score. Anything can happen, really don't know. I think they'll probably stay right where they are. Ramastani, what's the one thing you would do to TNA to make it better? Get new writers. I've said this for a long time. I think pretty much the entire creative staff needs to be replaced. I don't think Gaburik is up to the task of running creative. I think Lagana and Conway are tapped out. Just get some new people, some fresh creative minds in there. I mean, Billy Corgan can stay. It seems like, from what I've heard from him, he seems to have his head screwed on straight. I like what I've heard from him. He seems to be a little thinking more progressively than the others, but, Billy Corgan can stay. As for everyone else, get him out of there. Get some new people. Get some new writers. For starters, revamp several divisions. They need to revamp the knockout division. Make up your mind about what you want to do with the X division. Do you want it to be a thing or not? Because I think people are tired of being jerked around when it comes to the X division. Let's see. That's just off the top of my head. Let's see. NJ Galloway posted a picture of him standing next to a room with the word Bucks on it. Okay. So he's a fan of the Young Bucks, maybe? Direwolf 87, why are people shipping Rey and Kylo Ren if they're siblings anyway? They don't want to believe they're siblings. I have tried arguing this on Twitter. on Tumblr. They don't underestimate the shippers, because they will blind themselves to a lot of stuff. Now, I'm not saying it's a fact because we don't know what the facts are right now. Who knows? They could be brother sister. They could be cousins. They could be not related. Rey could be a Kenobi. Could turn out to be a Kenobi after all. I don't know. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen episode 8 yet. It isn't made yet. So we don't know what canon is. And right now, the shippers really want Rey and Kylo Ren to be a couple. Because that's just how the shippers' minds work. Because Kylo Ren is the tortured emo bad boy, and Rey is the girl who can fix him, and she can return him to the light side, and she can show him the way with the power of true love, or whatever the fuck. That's how shippers. That's how they think. I don't get it. I see a girl and a man who is right now is pretty evil, and is fighting tooth and nail to embrace the dark side of the Force. This is not the basis for a healthy relationship, so I don't ship those two. Plus, I think they're cousins anyway. That's why I don't ship Kylo Ren and Rey together. Plus, we just got done with... The previous trilogy was all about how romantic attachments drive you to the dark side, because they compromise your emotions. And now the shippers want these two in a relationship which would do exactly that. No, Kylo Ren's already compromised. He needs to be uncompromised. So he needs to be detached from that sort of thing. And frankly, so does Rey, so she doesn't end up just like him. So she doesn't end up like Anakin. Anakin was a fucking cautionary tale about what happens when you let romantic attachments compromise yourself as a Jedi. Yeah, so the shippers don't believe their siblings, don't believe their cousins, whatever. Because they want them in a romantic relationship, that's why. And I think a romantic relationship between the two is stupid. So I really like the idea that they're cousins. Okay, and that is going to do it for tonight. Did I forget to hit record on that? Wow, I did. I hope that still gets uploaded. Holy shit. Okay. That'll do it. Thanks to everybody who tuned in tonight. This might be a record for me. For people who tuned in. Wow. It's usually not this many people. That's cool. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I had a lot of fun tonight. Good stream tonight. And I will be back, I believe, next Tuesday night to do this again. And also the Comic Show Post Show is coming back in a couple of weeks, where we'll have Agent Carter and I believe Legends of Tomorrow. Or The Flash or something. I'm not sure when the shows come back exactly. It's a couple of weeks when we'll have something to talk about. At least Agent Carter. And that's going to do it for tonight. So, once again, thanks everybody for tuning in. I will see you next week. Later.